Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Welcome back to another Disney Lorcana video. Today we have a polarizing topic, the sealed investment side of Disney Lorcana, specifically the first chapter and booster boxes. To be completely transparent, got little to no sleep last night. The baby was, I think she might be teething. She was struggling, so I'm struggling in return. Not going to be very articulate, but I want to get your guys' thoughts here, and this is kind of spurred off the back of a comment I got yesterday, but. So to frameless, I am now, thanks to Doug. Doug, thank you for the comment yesterday. I had read that, but I hadn't really processed it. For those of you who don't know, Lorcana or Ravensburger has announced that all language variants of Lorcana cards are going to be tournament legal. So let's say in April or May we have the first Worlds and Japan's launch, China's launch, Australia's launch, everyone's launch. Let's say we have 5 different language variants in total. All the language variants are welcome and are tournament legal. So that means they've done multiple releases here in the States. They've done multiple releases in the UK. They've done a French release, English release. They've done Australia. Now we got Chinese. Now we got Japanese. On top of the gift set and all the different things they've done, I think I now am of the belief, based on that ruling, that we are no longer going to see another first chapter reprint. That's not, I don't have any insider information. I would say it's probably like an 80-20. I lean 80% that they're not going to reprint the first chapter based on that information in combination with everything we've talked about before, how they addressed the first chapter reprint, how they talked about it, the amount of work it took and time it consumed. Like, I just don't think they're going to reprint it again. So that has me thinking about the first chapter, the more collectability investment side of things. What does that look like? I also am of the mindset that Lorcana is incredibly affordable right now. Sure, there are some cards in the first chapter that have value. I don't think that's a bad thing. I know some of you guys think that they're game pieces. They should be free of charge, irrelevant of rarity, etc. I vehemently disagree. I think that these cards have to have value for this to be a sustaining ecosystem. If the cards didn't have value, people wouldn't play the game, people wouldn't collect the game, it would have no support, and it would cease to exist. With that being said, I am very, very interested on what does the supply and demand and long-term trajectory of a sealed Lorcana, let's say the first chapter booster box, look like, because of how hard it is to pull an enchanted card, right? The likelihood that you're going to get an Elsa or a Tinkerbell or a Stitch, right? If we look 5 years from now and we look at let's say we're staring at a $1,000 Disney Lorcana first chapter booster box. That's the going rate in 2030 for a first chapter box. The likelihood that an individual box has an enchanted in it is, in theory, 1 in 96. Now, I would argue that in 2030, an individual booster box, the likelihood that it has an enchanted is worse than 1 in 96, because you've got to take into account all the people that opened a case, pulled an enchanted from their first box, and then sold the rest of the boxes off, right? You've got to take that into account. So it doesn't move the needle, a little bit, a lot of bit. I don't know. Maybe that makes it 1 in 20, 1 in 120 chance that there's an enchant in there. I just think that in my mind, it makes it less of 1 in 96, 1 in 196. See, the lack of sleep is catch up with me. I can't even speak. Versus like a sealed case, you're getting, assuming it's not tampered with, you're getting the 4 booster boxes, you're hitting that 1 in 96 threshold, and in theory, you should have an enchanted in there, right? So I think that those might outpace the individual boxes. But going back to just the sheer difficulty, let's use that 1 in 96 number. If you open a box and it wasn't even one that came from a case that already pulled the enchanted, you're staring at 1 in 96, and then on top of that, to get the enchanted that you want, like the Elsa or the Stitch, for example, you're 1 in 12 on top of the 1 in 96. And so the odds that this box has anything of value is already so low. And then is it the likelihood that it has the card that you want in it of the cards of value is minute. It's not going to happen. Like, it's damn near impossible. And so I feel like that is going to slow the pace of these, investments or these boxes as it relates to their long-term trajectory. I just think that's going to play an impact. I think this whole entire idea of keeping a sealed case or keeping a sealed box comes from the Pokemon days where, right now a first edition base set booster box is, $200,000 or whatever, maybe give or take 25K. And so, but the thing about that is, you're going to get a Charizard, you're going to get a Venusaur, you're going to get a Hitmonlee, you're going to get all these base set holos that come in these packs that you're going to get. Now, There's some variants in there. You might get 2 Charizards. You can even get 3 Charizards in a base set booster box. Very rare, but I've seen it happen. So there's some assurances on what you're going to get. You're going to get value out of that box. Sure, not 200,000, but you're going to get something of value. Now, if you pull a Charizard and it grades a 10, which is very rare, probably the odds of opening a first chapter booster box outside of a case and pulling an enchanted Nick getting a 10, probably similar odds. But then it's, $200,000 for that particular card, which makes up for the price of the box. Obviously, it's likely that it's not going to happen, but that's, why people play the game, if you will. So, in terms of the long-term future of a Disney Lorcana box, like I assume that the playable cards are going to be worthless in 5 to 10 years as the meta shifts and they get out of the meta game. Assuming in 5 years, when we're 4 sets a year, 5 years, 20 sets from now, I'm going to go ahead and assume that a Fishbone Quill is no longer a $8 card or a $5 card, whatever it is. I'm going to assume that it's probably a quarter or something, right? Like people who maybe want to just complete the first chapter. Like that's going to be the allure. I don't think there's going to be a sort of collectability, truthfully, to a lot of these cards. It's just going to be just like a common, uncommon WotC card, right? Like you get some for 10 cents, 5 cents, 20 cents, depending on quality. I think it'll fall in line with exactly that. But just the likelihood that you're going to pull something special out of these boxes is so low that is that going to hurt the chase of people opening these boxes? Because the whole idea is the supply and demand influx. The supply of first edition base set Pokemon, the supply is never going to be higher than what it is today. Never. Right? And so then the supply is only coming down. Now the rate at which it comes down versus the rate at which the demand grows determines the price of that box. Right now it's at around $200,000. Now when PokeRev does his next break, or the next whoever does the next big break, there's one less out there. And then the next person, there's one less out there. And then does the pie of Pokemon grow? And do people come in with that much capital to then buy it up, and it raises the price, right? Those things have to happen for these investments to go up in value. I do think that Lorcana booster boxes are going to go up in value. I do think that there is going to be some sort of investment angle to these boxes. But what does the hard pull rate, in combination with the fact that the card that you're pulling might not even be worth the value of the box, what does that mean for the long-term value of Lorcana? I personally think that it hurts it as a investable asset, right? We're just speculating. It's cardboard in a box. We don't know what it's going to be worth in 5 to 10 years. And full transparency, I still have all of the first chapter sealed that I had. I haven't bought any for a while, but I have mine sealed. I haven't sold a single box. I just love the idea of like 5-10 years as my kids get older, we'll have some boxes potentially open, display, etc. Like I love that. And look, I don't care how your standards of how I should enjoy the hobby. I could care less. I'm not going to gatekeep you on how you enjoy the hobby. I'm just glad you're here participating within this wonderful little community that we have. But I'm not here to be gate kept or gatekeep. But with that being said, I just think that it's going to hurt the long term value of Lorcana, just how hard these cards are to pull. So that's the basis of the question today. Hopefully I didn't articulate or butcher that too much. Once again, kind of running on fumes here. But wanted to ask this off the back of Doug's comment yesterday, kind of reinforcing that I don't think the first chapter is going to be reprinted. And so we're at $1,400 for a sealed case now. We're at $350-ish for an individual box now. Are the cases going to outpace the boxes due to what I talked about? Are all of these going to not really have that much movement? Like it's just going to be, because we're at all-time highs right now, right? So in 5 years, what's the price going to be? Is it going to be 1,000 and 4,000? I don't know, what that looks like. I'm happy to be along for the ride, but I don't know how much the pull rates are going to impact these boxes being opened. Because the pie has to grow, the demand has to grow for it to go up in value, in combination with the supply has to decrease. Now, in order for people to do these box breaks and open these boxes, the value has to be there to entice people to do it, right? And so as these cards get out of rotation, right now, if you open a box, you're still getting value out of the Tamatoas, the Quills, the Rapunzels, the Maleficent Monstrous Dragons. I don't think any of those cards are going to have collectability. Maybe like a foil Rapunzel, right? Might be like an exception to the rule there. But by and large, I think that these are all going to be treated like, WotC cards that are common, uncommon, non-holo, rare like versions. Like I think that's kind of what the vibe is going to be. And there's just not a lot of value there. And so that's kind of the thesis for my argument here. So please let me know your thoughts. First and foremost, and I don't care if you want it to or not want it to. That's irrelevant to me. Do you think that the first chapter is going to be reprinted? Right, just pure speculation. Obviously, none of us know. In combination with, do you think the fact that to pull an enchanted being 1 in 96 is so hard, in combination with the fact that it's 1 in 12 on top of that 1 in 96 to pull the Elsa, is that going to hurt the long-term trajectory of these boxes being opened? Then in turn, the supply isn't really dwindling, so that slows down the entire, investment thesis for these particular boxes. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Hopefully it wasn't too bad, too rambly. Took me 11 minutes to get it out, so I apologize. But with that being said, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. Hope you all are doing well. Hope you all have an amazing weekend. Go Chiefs tomorrow and go Bills. I really want to see the Bills and the Chiefs play again in the AFC Championship at Arrowhead. That would be a great game. But nevertheless, I will talk to you guys later.